Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today our topic for discussion is principles of language assessment. In the previous lecture we had discussion on the principle of reliability, and today we will discuss the principle of validity. The most complex criterion of an effective test and arguably the most important principle is validity. Validity of a test is the extent to which it exactly measures what it is supposed to measure. This definition has been given by Hughes 2003, and according to Headon 1990, a test must aim to provide a true measure of the particular skill which it is intended to measure, not to the extent that it measures external knowledge and other skills at the same time. Are appropriate, meaningful, and useful in terms of the purpose of the assessment. Now the question arises, how is the validity of a test established? There is no final absolute measure of validity, but several different kinds of evidence may be invoked in sport. For example, in some cases, it may be appropriate to examine the extent to which a test calls for performance that matches that of the course or unit of study being tested. In other cases, we may be concerned with how well a test determines whether or not students have reached an established set of goals or level of competence. Statistical correlation with other related but independent measures is another widely accepted form of evidence. Other concerns about a test's validity may focus on the consequences of a test or even on the test taker's perception of validity. We'll look at these 5 types of evidence now. Hughes 2003. If a test actually samples the subject matter about which conclusions are to be drawn, and if it requires the test taker to perform the behavior that is being measured, it can claim content-related evidence of validity, often popularly referred to as content validity. In content validity, we should keep two things in mind. First, the correlation between the contents of the test and the language skills, structures, etc. with which it is meant to be measured has to be crystal clear. The second thing is that the test items should really represent the course objectives. What do you think if a listening test requires students to read passages to complete instead of requiring students to listening attentively? Does the test have content validity? The second one is criterion related evidence or criterion validity. This kind of validity emphasizes on the relationship between the test score and the outcome. The test score should really represent the criterion that is intended to measure in the test. As we have discussed in the previous slide, that a second form of evidence of the validity of a test may be found in what is called criterion related evidence. Also referred to as criterion related validity are the extent to which the criterion of the test has actually been reached. Criterion related evidence is used to demonstrate the accuracy of a measure or procedure by comparing it with another measure or procedure which has been demonstrated to be valid. For example, imagine a hands-on driving test has been shown to be an accurate test of driving skills. By comparing the scores on the written driving test with the scores from strategy in which the hands-on driving compared to the written test. Criterion related evidence usually falls into one of two categories, concurrent and predictive validity. A test has concurrent validity if its results are supported by other concurrent performance beyond the assessment itself. For example, the validity of a high score on the final exam of a foreign language course will be substantiated by actual proficiency in the language. The predictive validity of an assessment becomes important in the case of placement tests, admission assessment batteries, language aptitude tests, and the like. The assessment criterion in such cases is not to measure concurrent ability but to assess and predict a test taker's likelihood of future success. The number 3 is construct related evidence or construct validity. It refers to concepts or theories which are underlying the usage of certain ability, including language ability. According to Divendino 1996, construct validity shows that the result of the test really represents the same construct with the ability of the students which is being measured. Number 4 is consequential validity. Consequential validity refers to the social consequences of using a particular test for a particular purpose. The use of a test is said to have consequential validity to the extent that society benefits from the use of the test. According to Brown 2004, consequential validity encompasses all the consequences of a test, including such considerations as its accuracy in measuring intended criteria, its impact on the preparation of test takers, its effect on the learner, and the intended and unintended social consequences of a test's According to Musavi 2002, face validity refers to the degree to which a test looks right and appears to measure the knowledge or abilities it claims to measure, based on the subjective judgment of the examinees who take it, the administrative personnel who decide on its use, and other psychometrically unsophisticated observers. Sometimes students don't know what is being tested when they tackle a test. They may feel for a variety of reasons that a test isn't testing what it is supposed to test. Face validity means that the students perceive the test to be valid. Face validity asks the question, does the test on the face of it appear from the learner's perspective to test what it is designed to test? Face validity will likely be high if learners encounter a well-constructed expected format with familiar tasks, a test that is clearly doable within the allotted time limit, items that are clear and uncomplicated, directions that are crystal clear, tasks that relate to their coursework content validity, and a difficulty level that presents a reasonable challenge.